What kind of email do you write the day you get fired from your job? Here's the email that I sent at 11:35 p.m. on one of the darkest days of my life. Now, for some backstory, on January 1st, 2022, I committed to sending a daily email to my audience, and this email was sent 11 months and 9 days later. So every day that year, I had committed to sending a daily email. I would tell a short story from my story vault, and I would share the lesson I learned and the application for my readers and their call to action, and it was going great. And a few months into this habit, one of my top coaching clients made me a job offer I couldn't refuse. And I shut down most parts of my digital agency and I went to work for them full time as a marketing director. Now, the one habit I kept was I continued sending a daily email. And I thought, I'll just finish out the year. I work for this company now. There's no reason to continue to deal with daily emails. And I'll just keep this habit going. But it would happen later and later at night because I was busy during the day with my job obligations. So the emails started to come at 9 p.m., 9:15, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:15. And that was mostly how that went for that whole year. Well, on December 9th, 2022, it was a day unlike any other. That morning, I had a call with my boss at that company, and sitting right here, right in this chair, same backdrop, same computer, staring into the same camera, and had a really uncomfortable Zoom call that I was going to be let go from the company a couple weeks before Christmas. It was a quick call, but that was one of the darkest days of my adult life because I'm a dad and I had 3 kids and they had Christmas coming up and it was the holidays and they were about to be home from school, and all of the disruption and fear that I had in that moment came crashing down. And that day was one of the darkest days of my adult professional life. So when that call was done, I went upstairs. I work in the basement and my wife was home. She works from home as well. And I told her what happened and she was very consoling and I was very upset and it was very uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable memory. And she did say, maybe don't send your email yet. Maybe don't do a Facebook Live. Don't go talk about this on social media. Let's wait and see how you feel later. So after that, my parents live nearby. So I went to my parents' house and told them what happened. And they were very nice, loving parents. And then I tried to get through the day. The kids were at school because it was a Friday. And I did the afternoon school pickup duties. And then I remember that night I went to go see a movie by myself. And it was a good outlet for me to take my mind off of what had happened earlier that day. I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know what I'd be doing next. I had no answers. I just was really upset. So I went and saw the movie by myself, and then the movie was over, and then I came home, and it was 11:35 p.m., and this is the email that I sent that day. Since it was the Christmas season, I went with the subject line, Merry and Bright. And the email is this. I said, we've been jamming to Christmas music all week and are starting to deck the halls around the Birch House. We got a late start due to our trip last week. And the word merry keeps coming up. It's on the pillows, it's on the trees, it's on the pictures hanging on our mantle, and it's in every song. And I was stricken by what a funny concept it is. To be merry, of course, is to be happy, cheerful, and grateful. But life is not always candy canes and mistletoe. I had a really rough day today, and I'm sure I'll tell the story someday. But let's just say I'm feeling a little grinchy today, a little scroogey. And this idea of merriment surrounds me. Everywhere I look, I'm encouraged to be merry and to smile, to find joy. 'Tis the season to be jolly and so forth. But I'm not feeling it. So in my moments today of feeling not so merry, I began saying things I was grateful for out loud. I found gratitude in the big stuff, my wife's smile, a hug from my son, a long conversation with my parents. I found gratitude in the small stuff, a great cup of coffee, a close parking spot at Costco, a generous portion of turkey meatloaf on my plate. It was still steaming. And like the Grinch, my heart grew a few sizes. So no matter what the day brings you, try to find a bit of merriment through gratitude. It's there. Some days you'll just have to look a little bit harder. You got this. I ended all my emails with, you got this. It's what's on the sign over my shoulder. You can't always see it in the camera, but it says, you got this. So that was the email I sent at 11:35 that night. It's even kind of painful remembering it because I wanted to show up and I wanted to do something and I wanted to make a connection with my audience, but I didn't know what to say. And I had nothing to sell. I had a little super signature here to see if it could scoop up any sales, but that was the extent of that email. So here's big takeaway number one. When life happens, you don't have to fake it, but also don't disappear. And your future self and your audience will thank you for showing up even when times are hard. So the big idea here in this video is, well, what do I do if I don't feel like sending an email? If I have a commitment to my audience to show up, whether it's daily like me or 3 times a week or 5 times a week or 7 times a week, and hopefully not less frequently than that, what do? You don't have to trauma dump and you don't have to lie or over explain. You just have to honor your voice and your audience in a way that's true and authentic. All right. So what about the next day? Well, here's the email I sent on Saturday, December 10th at 10:07 p.m. I remember that day my oldest kid had a wrestling tournament, and I spent that day with my wife in the gym cheering him on and not thinking about what had happened the day before when I was abruptly let go. But here's the email I sent that day. The subject line is "Believing is seeing." And I said, it's hard to accomplish something if you've never experienced it in person. I'll believe it when I see it. It's backwards. Before you can see the path to success, you have to believe that it's possible. And once you believe it, the pathway has a way of revealing itself. Now, that's a little philosophical. I was going through it at the moment and had all day to sit in a gym and watch wrestling. I don't know if you've ever seen a high school wrestling tournament. It's bursts of excitement and adrenaline followed by hours of sitting there because your kid has a match every 2 hours or something like that. So that's the email I sent the next day, just being fully transparent. While I was thinking about, well, what's next? Like, I need to believe that success is possible for me to chart the next path. I'm not going to get in momentum yet, but I need to at least believe it. And the next day, now it's Sunday, December 11th, and I wrote the following email. I said, "A little goes a long way. Yesterday, my oldest boy, Jacob, had his first wrestling match of the year. He's in shape, but he's not in wrestling shape, and so we had no expectations for his first tourney. He did well in the first round of the first two matches, but he gassed out and got pinned both times. But while we were waiting for his third and final match to start, we noticed the varsity head coach walk into the gym. This was a good sign because when you're on JV and don't get great feedback from the assistant coaches. When Jacob's third match started, he was getting tossed around like a rag doll. The coach strolled in and knelt by the mat. He spoke calmly to Jacob. Move here, lean there, watch out for this. Good, good, a little more, lean in, good, now lean back. The whistle blew and the ref slapped the mat. Jacob got his first win of the season. A little coaching goes a long way, and I'd estimate his coach has seen tens of thousands of bouts. He knew what was going on and calmly guided Jacob to an unlikely victory. I have a saying about coaching: find someone who has been where you want to go and hire them in the most intimate way you can afford. Buy their book, get their course, book them for a VIP day. You'll save years in experimentation. You got this. P.S. Here it comes. I'm opening up 4 coaching spots in January to help people dial in their list building. Would you like to work with me one-on-one to grow your email list? Reply and let me know. So this went out Sunday night. I don't recall if anybody replied and let me know. I wasn't sure what was going to happen next. Would I try to get unemployment? Would I try to get my old job back? Would I try to get another job in Colorado Springs? Would I go full in on entrepreneurship? I wasn't sure, and I was kind of flailing. But that's a typical story-based email about an experience I had just had where my son got some good coaching, and then he got his first win of the season because I'm pre-framing that I might be doing some coaching again soon. We'll see how it goes. This is the last one I want to share with you. This was Monday, December 12th, the next day, and it was at 9:20 p.m. I'm still sending in the evening, even though my days were all of a sudden totally available. I said, hey, my wife saw the craziest thing in Hawaii last month. Now, at this time, my email list, I wasn't growing my list, so it was just people that were there on my list still. And so a week before I got let go, we were in Hawaii to celebrate our 20-year wedding anniversary. Then I flew from Hawaii to the home office of that company. 2 days later, I was let go. So that's the timeline. So anyways, my wife saw the craziest thing in Hawaii last month. While crawling over lava formations near the coast, she noticed a little puddles with tiny fish in them. She paused to observe the tiny cute creatures when something astonishing happened. A tiny fish catapulted itself out of one puddle into another puddle 6 feet away. It jumped again, even longer and higher this time. We watched as these tiny fish jumped from puddle to puddle. There was no way that they knew where they were going. They just jumped. Think about that. How much faith does it take to jettison from one perfectly good puddle in search of another puddle? I've been thinking about faith and belief a lot lately. When situations change and you have to leave something that seemed safe and sound, and you have no idea what the future holds, you just have to jump. And you have to have faith that you'll end up somewhere even better. These emails maybe aren't the best emails I've ever written. Maybe they're above average, maybe they're below average. I'll leave that judgment to you and to the readers who receive them in that moment. But nowhere in here did I mention that my life had just been totally upset. I didn't mention that for weeks later. So our wedding anniversary is in December at the end of the month. And that was when I first talked about it on social media, but I didn't send an email about the situation for a while. So I was maybe a bit in denial and trying to act like it didn't happen, but it did. All right, last one as a bonus, just so you get the vibe of what I'm talking about and how I see the world of email. And by the way, if you struggle to come up with story ideas for your emails, I've got a checklist of my 202 top story ideas. It's totally free. Just get it at the link in the description. So this is the next day, Tuesday. I'm starting to come out of the fog a little bit. And my subject line is that there's a stolen mountain view. Now, we live in Colorado, so I started the email. My house used to have a mountain view. When we moved into our current home in 2006, we enjoyed an unobstructed view of Pikes Peak from our backyard. We've spent many summer nights in the backyard gazing at America's mountain. Fire pits, trampolines, bocce ball, tossing the football or frisbee with the boys, all in the shadow of the peak. Until now. They're building a 4-story apartment complex at the end of my street, which blots out the entire Front Range. Something really cool is now out of sight. The mountain is still there, but the view is obstructed. Do you ever feel that in your business? You know that something worthwhile is just around the corner, but you can't see it. So you have an option. Sit there and wonder what life is like on the other side, or pack up and move. Might be time to try something different. Now, if this is the first video you're watching on my channel, you might know that after this, I decided to build back my entrepreneur business. 2023, my first year back in entrepreneur land after 5.5 years in round one. 2023 was my best year ever. I've never had such financial freedom and success in a year, catapulted back by this unexpected event that happened in December. In 2024, I more than doubled my record-breaking year in 2023. So it's interesting now to look back, and I'm so glad for myself and for my future and for my audience that I continued to show up. So here's my advice and my plan for you. If you're having a bad day, send the email anyway, but maybe keep it short, keep it human. Just don't go totally quiet. Don't disappear. You don't have to explain yourself. You just have to show up in a way that honors your story, and it keeps that communication alive between you and the audience that you feel called to help. So if you're a writer, course creator, membership site owner, content creator, whatever, you don't owe the internet your pain, but you do owe your people your presence, even if it's a little quiet. If you found this video useful, then hit that subscribe button to learn how to write emails that connect, even on the bad days. And if you want a more comprehensive email strategy that works, so you can grow your email list, engage with stories, and sell with campaigns, then check out Email School. It's at the link in the description below. In the next video, if you're wondering how do you get people on your list in the first place so you can show up even when it's hard, then make sure you check out the next video where I unveil my entire A to Z list building method. It's totally automated and the video is totally free. See you there.